Hey folks, D-Lo back with another video, and we got to get into this right here. I couldn't believe this when I laid my eyes on this right here. So this article comes from TechCrunch.com. So 23andMe tells victims it is their fault that their data was breached. Hold up. It's their fault their data was breached. How you gonna blame the consumer who let's get into this. How you gonna blame them and say it's their fault? How is their fault? How's that problem? How is their fault that they did it got breached? Well, ain't these people got some nerve? Okay, let's get into this one. Facing more than 30 lawsuits from victims of a massive data breach, 23andMe is not afraid to blame the victims themselves in an attempt to absolve itself from any responsibility, according to a letter sent to a group of victims sent by TechCrunch. While they acknowledge its role in this data security disaster, 23andMe had apparently decided to leave its customers out to dry while downplaying the seriousness of the event. Hassan Zavriel, one of the lawyers representing the victim who received the letter from 23andMe, told TechCrunch in the email. In December, 23andMe admitted that hackers had hackers had stole the general and ancestry data of 6.9 million users, nearly half of all its customers. So hackers hacking to 23andMe stole their data, and 23andMe got nerve to try to blame the consumers.
What's wrong with all of you?
You know something seriously wrong with these people. The data breach started when hackers accessing only around 14,000 user accounts. The hacker broke into the first set of victims by brutal force account with password that was known to be associated with a target consumer, a tech quality known as credit stuffing. From these 14,000 initiated victims, however, the hacker was able to then access the personal data of other 6.9 million. They got million twice in that line. I don't know why you put million twice. Million victims because they had opted in 23andMe DNA relative features. This optional feature allows consumers to automatically share some of their data with people who are considered their relative on the platform. In other words, by hacking into only 14,000 consumer accounts, the hacker subsequently scrapped personal data of another 6.9 million customers whose account was not directly hacked. But yet, 23andMe is coming out saying it's the consumer fault. Man, these people need to get somewhere and sit down somewhere. You know what? I can't believe them. You are in charge of keeping people's data, personal data protected, secure. And you fail to do that, and you gonna come around and blame the consumers. Something seriously wrong with that. Therefore, the incident was not a result of 23andMe alleged failure to maintain reasonable security measures. The letter reads, Zavriel said that 23andMe is shamelessly blaming the victim of the data breach, which is something they should not do. How you gonna blame somebody for something that you were responsible for keeping protected? You see, some people out here got some kind of audacity, man, for real. It was their responsibility to keep keep people's personal information protected. I'm gonna say that again. It was their responsibility to keep people's personal data and their information like that protected. Especially because this right here is particularly an ancestry. So, because they apparently failed to do that, they're gonna turn around and say it's their fault, it's the customer's fault. I'm really trying to wrap my head around that. Only thing the customers do is give your personal data so you could do what your ancestral website's supposed to do. That's it. Once they give you the top of their personal information, as soon as they top of their information, that's your responsibility to keep it secure. But you gonna sit. You know what? Let me go on. This finger pointing is nonsense. Exactly. I agree with that. 23andMe knew or should have known that many consumers use recycled password, and thus that 23andMe should have implemented some of many safety guards available to protect against the credit stuffing, especially considering that the 23andMe store personal identified information, health information, general information of its platform, Zavira said in the email. And now on this, let's go ahead and go ahead and get into this right here about the password and all that stuff. Come on, let's be real. If people have to have password, people type in password they know for a fact they're gonna remember. And they kind of touch on that a little bit too. People have passwords where they know they're gonna remember. People not gonna use something. They're not gonna use a password they know they're not gonna hardly remember. They usually use password they know they can remember. So they know they automatically know they will have no problem logging into their stuff. These people done lost their mind trying to blame their customers about what happened to their own data breach. That just is stupid. But let me go on. The breach impacted millions of consumers whose data was exposed to the DNA relative feature on 23andMe platform, not because they used recycled password of those millions. Only a few thousand accounts were compromised due to credit stuffing. 23andMe attempt to shred responsibility by blaming its consumer does anything for these millions of customers whose data was compromised through no fault of their own. Whoever said Zavira. In response, 23andMe letter Dane Thomas, I think how you pronounce the name, a 23andMe customer who was impacted by the data breach told TechCrunch that he found it appeared appalling that 23andMe is attempting to hide from the consequences instead of helping its consumers. Well, when you really think about it, Daniel Tomas, if I pronounce your name correctly, usually a lot of these companies do that. When they know they mess up, they'll quickly blame the consumers instead of holding their own water or what they done. This is done when you paying the bill. How many times there been a couple of incidents where you make sure your stuff is right when you're gonna pay that particular bill or whatever bill you got to pay, and they got the information wrong, even though you don't telling people the information about over 1,000 times. Somebody they probably mess up the information, a mistake they made on their end, but you got to turn around and pay for their mistakes. Okay, enough said. Okay, let me go on. 23andMe lawyer argues that the stolen data cannot be used to inflict monetary damage against the victim. And the information that was particularly assessed cannot be used for any harm, as explained in October 6, 2023 blog post by the Department. Information that may have been assessed related to DNA relative feature which a consumer credit and choose to share with others on 23andMe platform. Such information will only be available if the platform affirmative elected to share this information with other users via the DNA relative features. In addition, the information that the unauthorized act potentially obtained by the plaintiff could not have been used to cause precautionary harm. It did not include their social security number, driver's license, or any payments of financial information, the letter said. I'm gonna go ahead and say this right here. 23andMe acting like this over something they feel their responsibility doing. That just kind of show you. That kind of show you what you're dealing with 23andMe. The way they respond to this right here, they'll show you who or they give you a glimpse of who 23andMe, what kind of company that is. Point 23andMe and one of its lawyers did not respond to TechCrunch request for comment. And you know what? They're not. They know they did wrong for that. They know they did wrong for that. They did wrong to sit up. They did wrong for sitting up there and try to blame all the data breach to the customers. First of all, they are your customers. They come to your brand of ancestry online or everything you got online. They using your version because you got more than one ancestry thing out here. They're using your version of it, and yet you gonna come at them and point the finger at them, talking about, oh, this data breach. No, you did this. What did they do? What? Give you your information so they could trace their actual relative? But that was 23andMe look like it basically for. If they fought for using y'all stuff for what it's supposed to be used for, that's what you're trying to say. If they fought for that, because you might well be saying that. Only thing the customers on their end got control of and giving you the information they find their relative. All that other stuff, that's y'all call. See, I can't stand see stuff like this now. I can't. After disclosing the breach, 23andMe reset the customer password and then require all customers to use multi-factor authentication, which was only excuse me. Require all customers to use multi-factor authentication, which were only optional before the breach. In an attempt to preempt the Invadable Class Act lawsuit and the mass alteration claim, the 23andMe changed its term of service to make it more difficult or for victims to be But I can't even talk. We read that line again. 23andMe changed its terms of service to make it more difficult for victims to bring together with filing a legislative claim against the company lawyer with experience with resident data breach victim told TechCrunch that the change were scenario self-serving and a despite attempt to protect itself and deter customers from going after the company. Clearly, the change did not stop what is now flurry of class action lawsuit. That's how it is. When these companies get caught doing something or the lack of them doing something, they usually try to sneak up and try to do something and try to do something handy to try to keep themselves out of hot water. But 9 times out of 10 they end up being hot water anyway. But y'all might have to tell me what y'all think about this situation. I can't believe 23andMe got the nerve to blame the customers for the data breach. Like the customers working at your doggone system. Man, y'all better get somewhere. Sit down somewhere. You know what? Like I said earlier, the fact they are conducting themselves like this, that give you a glimpse of what you might be dealing with 23andMe. Let me know what you think about this whole situation in the comment section. I will leave the link to this whole article down in the description box. And I will see you in my next one. D-Lo out.